Well, hello and welcome, people of the internet, to the Those Who Rule finale. We are finally here with Chapter 20. It's been a long journey, but hey, it was worth it though, and I am very glad that we've done this journey. The game so far has been great. Now, if this is your first time seeing Those Who Rule on this channel, well, silly, you're in the wrong place. This is the end of the series. There is, of course, a link down below in the description to the full playlist, so you can go ahead, start from the very beginning or wherever you would like to, and check out the full series. If this is not your first time here, we had a very interesting end to the last chapter where I raged a little bit. I was not expecting certain story beats to happen, and unfortunately the person who has left us is about to die. We're going to kill him because you don't get to take my stuff and just leave me. So that's how it is. You're either with me or you're dead. So without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do, if you have liked this series, I can't speak, guys, it's been a long day. If you have liked this series or just the content in general, would you kindly remember to smash that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But now, for the finale, go ahead, grab a drink, grab a snack, sit back, relax, and let's finish up Those Who Rule. Chapter 20, A New World. There you are. We found him. Crawford? And all the forces he could muster. Seems like they found us too. It'll be an even fight. No time to set up an ambush. We're just gonna hope to outmuscle them then? They're trained soldiers. We've just got some rebels. Rebels with a fire in their hearts. Besides, you're ace in the hole, Captain. You and your rangers could be all we need to tip the scales in our favor. Could be. Guess there's only one way to find out. Come on, let's not leave him waiting. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Let's get it going. Oh, that's quite the crowd. How'd they even hold out against Iroquois with so many troops pulled back? Presumably they aren't. Not anymore. Crawford probably had some kind of plan lined up for them, though. That makes sense. Hopefully those plans don't involve him being alive, because that man, he dies today, right, Captain? He'll pay, Ileana. For everything. Good. I should go get in position. Thank you, Sliker. Yeah. You know, you can still run. What? Marcus, you traitor! Kill him! Nobody wants to fight a friend. It's already bad enough fighting our fellow countrymen. If you fled now, few are they who would think less of you. Well, I'm one of the jerks who'd hate my guts if I did something like that. Nah, I've got to face what I helped create. Doesn't matter if it's tough. Look at this prick. The whole reason, oh my God, the whole reason he left, he was like, I can't watch what you're doing to our country. You're killing our people. And now you're literally fighting against the friends that you've been fighting with for the past 19 chapters. You're a real piece of shit, Marcus. I believed in you. I thought you were better than Sliker. Now you're a piece of shit. You've more conviction than most. I can see why you strayed from Rourke's path where all others faltered. You are not one to be swayed. Doesn't feel like it. Feels like, if anything, I was swayed too easily for too long. Perhaps. Will you make things right with me? I'd do anything for that chance. What a pussy bitch. God, this guy sucks, man. And to think, I put all this time leveling him up. I gave him special rings. I gave him special gear, special treatment. He was on my superior special ops squad, and then I get stabbed in the back by this blonde bitch. Then come, let us ride out to meet them. Me, sir? But I'm... Aw, I don't want to come face them because they've been my friends for so long. They've had my back, but, you know, I won't fight random people that are against us, but they come from the country, but I will fight my friends. Coming with me? Yes, or perhaps you'd like to stay home? Even after everything I did to Fern, you'd still fight alongside me? Would you, after all that I've done? All right. We're all set up. The team is squared away. We have everything we need. Let's get him. I don't even care about Crawford at this point. Give me Marcus. Give me Marcus's head on a spike. Rourke, show yourself, you traitorous bastard. Your homeland calls for vengeance, for your blood. Will you ignore her cries? Duke Crawford, I've heard much about you and your misdeeds. Perhaps Fern hungers for blood because men like you have bled her so dry. Save the poetry, you wretch. Our people starve and die for your crimes. Your death will make for poor sustenance, but it will have to do. I see you've brought our vaunted rangers. To think they could fall even lower than they already had. How despicable. Hey, we're a real shadow of our former selves, huh? I can't help but notice that didn't stop you from bringing a ranger of your own. Sliker, please, I can explain. Marcus, meet your future. No need. I already understand entirely. You're no ranger at all, are you? Just another soldier like all the rest. And you're a damn butcher. You and all the rest of your rebels. You're literally coming after us. You fucking hypocrite, man. Unlike your new friend, of course, there's a man who'd never bring harm to his homeland. Isn't that right, Crawford? Everything I do and everything I have done, I do for the future. To build a Fern that can survive any hardship. I will gladly accept the burden of my sins if it grants Fern the future she deserves. I'd live my own life out in chains if I had to. But if you don't, a golden throne will do nicely as well, yeah? If my guiding hand can lead Fern to a brighter future, then yes, I would sit upon any throne necessary. Typical. It's always greed with you types, isn't it? Greed or envy for the greedier. Greed and envy, you say? Fool boy, you know nothing. The last time Rourke's rebellion raged across our lands, we lost much. Our lands, our homes, our family. Hear me, traitor prince. My father sends his regards. So it all comes back to petty revenge. Your father's death was as necessary as yours will be. I do not mourn him. I do. I mourn all the lives you took, the lives you lives you barely spare a second glance towards as you trample their corpses into the dirt. You will take no more from us, traitor. No more shall you cast a shadow across our lands. Fern will know peace. I'm getting bored of this pointless chatter. Crawford, you got anything else to say? Only this. Fern will remember your names, all of you. They shall be cursed for so long as the sands of time flow. A problem for our ghosts to ponder. Tonight, we've more important things to do. That's right, like kill Marcus, traitorous bastard. Warriors of Fern! Across that field lies the best and brightest of Fern's military, the men and women who would hold the front line in times of war. They are led by a tactician as brutal as he is cunning, the man who started the war with Iroquois, a man who'd put our very homes to the torch. When the Duke falls, so too will the last thing standing between us and the capital. Make no mistake, this battle shall decide who wins this war. So tell me, are you afraid? Perhaps you misunderstand me. To stand for Fern, as you all have, against everything you've ever known, takes an uncanny bravery. But bravery does not mean we do not feel fear. It means we spit in fear's face. It means we do not let it control us. For too long, fear has controlled Fern, gripping her heart tight in an icy grip. So, friends and allies, brothers and sisters, fathers and daughters, advance, show no fear, and know no defeat. Rangers, tonight we make good on our vows. Fern is counting on you all, so let's not disappoint the fair lady, eh? Now, with me, for our home! Well, it's certainly no shield shall be splintered. But, you know, it is a discussion. All right. Oh, frick. Russell has to join? Objectives. Does he? Can I just turn him off? I need you to join me. Yeah, I don't want Russell. So let's go to formation. So let's take a look here. We just have to kill all you. Oh, there's not even that many. Wait, that's it? Marcus, I'm coming for you. Look at that. You still have all your gear? You should be stripped naked. Alrighty. Oh, there's not even that many elites. Alrighty. So, armored units. Where do we have a lot of armored units? Got a couple Lionhearts down here. Actually, there's not that many. There's, what, 1, 1 night, 2 nights. All right, then let's do this. We're going to have C squad go north, B squad go in the middle, A squad down south. Easy split. Let's see. So Row, come up here. Dougie boy. Sliker, where be ye Sliker? Oh wait, that is Sliker. Melanie, that's what I'm looking for. Do that. Talon, we swap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're good here. Up here in the front, Rourke, you're gonna leave the charge. We get Sal up here. Sven, you're going this way. You're going that way. You're going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we're good. We save it, and here we go. Final battle. Defeat all enemies, and all our player units are defeated. Marcus. Hey, boss man. Looks like you were right. You really would be seeing me again. I'm not so sure. Don't know if I recognize the guy looking at me right now. Sliker, please, don't be this way. Which way? Should it be more like you then? A traitor? A turncoat? An unprincipled backstabber? A coward? You're fighting alongside the Duke after everything he did. That's all I need to know, that the Marcus I knew. He's long gone now. This guy here, just some lackey, and he'll die like all the others. Tell him, Sliker! Am I supposed to believe that even when you say it with tears in your eyes, Captain? It's raining, you prick. They get lost like tears in rain. I don't care what you believe. I've said what I had to say. Anything else isn't worth saying. I'm sorry. I'm not. Let's go. Let's kill this prick. Alright. Let's go, boys. Let's take him down. Let's take them down. Alright. Let's set up the squads. Ajax, get behind here. Melanie, you come up here. Let's start setting up some. Start setting up some marks. There we go. All right, let's send. Let's double check here. What are some safe tiles? Looks like this one's pretty safe. Let's go ahead. Actually, I'm gonna send her here, even if it's not. I'm okay with her getting a hit or two. Okay. Rourke, yeah. Put your shield on, bud. Salvatore, let's go. You've been a real champ this whole time with me, buddy. Stay with me just a little bit longer. Benjamin, my guy, you are the unsung hero. You are the one that I did not expect to be as good as you are, but holy crap, you have really risen to the occasion. And Ileana, best girl #1. You may have gotten outclassed at times, but now you rise. Sven, we always knew you were good. There's nothing to say about you, Sven. You still kick ass. You always did. Oh, who are these clowns? I don't care about them. They're... yeah. I like how... that's kind of cute that he was put up there. Like, what did he do? There's literally no reason for him to be on the map. Yeah, literally did nothing. I guess he distracted some enemies is what he did. Okay, nice. So we got a hit, so we're gonna get some extra power here. Oh, they all be a swarming. Man, these poor idiots just up here by themselves. There's got to be more enemies that pop in. Wait, is that Crawford? That's a special unit there. Who is that? Is that Crawford? There's no way Crawford's wearing armor and holding a tower shield. Oh, that is Crawford. Crazy. I didn't think he was actually going to fight. cute, and he's a paladin. Alrighty. Ajax, let's get you, how do we want to do this? Actually, let's have you get your kill right here. That's an easy one. We can get you all boosted up. So, Melanie, let's take advantage of you right now because you have that power boost. Get the kill here. We can spread that mark. We get our extra turn. Now, Dougie Doug boy. Actually, we'll just keep you with the mace. Alright, so now we can get Sliker up in here. To get his double. To get his extra turn. Okay. Now... So this is all B squad here. So we're gonna start working our way down here. Very nice positioning right there, actually. Alrighty. B squad, we're ooh, Salvatore. Salvatore, baby. Baby, let's go. God, what a badass. Alright. Let's see, so we can't quite get behind here. Man, I don't have anything. Actually, can I just shove you out of the way? I push you back. I go here. That's still a tile that's unavailable. Benjin coming up here. Benjin doing Benjin things, which now gives me access to clear out this area. Although I do have to worry about this right here, though. Can I have Ro? Okay, nice. I can have Ro come over here. So rather than going up over the top, we're going to fight through here. Why did I not attack? That was kind of silly. Because I was saving it for Sven, obviously. Because we get an extra turn. Holy frick, look at this movement. Can I get a bow kill? God dang, she's a monster. The funny thing about this mission, too, is that all of our main cast can technically die. I'm going to obviously try and get through this without anybody dying. But obviously, this is the first mission we've had where if any of our 2 main characters die. Let's see. Then we lose. Or then we don't lose. Huh. I'm a little spread out here. Okay, so I think that I'm gonna come up... Oh man, this guy's a bit troublesome. I gotta get some extra defense going. So... think here. Because I've kind of overexposed Caliph. That whole, like, I'm going to try not to kill anyone. Yeah, that might not be a thing. Although, I can come up here. Give Sal an extra turn. Put him in the bush. Try and take this one out, because this one isn't so much of a problem. It's the battle axe guy that's a problem. Face this way. And then... Sven... Only 65% chance. What do I do here with Sven? I think... I'm not too worried about Benjen down here. God. Okay, that's fine then. And then Cedric will move you up to the bush. Okay, let's see what they do. Okay, I think we might be losing Sven. Caliph! Caliph did not survive the final fight. No, best girl. It's okay, we're not playing with permadeath. It doesn't matter. Oh. 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 Beautiful justice. Kill him. Kill him now. Release yourself to the dark side of the Force. Screw you, Marcus. That's it then. After all that, it's just over. Can't believe I ever thought I could make it. That it could ever be more than just me. You always were a bitch. Always were. Actually, screw this. I gotta get Benjen in here. Benjen, can you just go for the kill on Crawford? Man, that's so greedy to just like smash. Screw it. Benjen! Annihilate him! Goodbye, Crawford. Won't be seeing you anytime soon. This is just an all-out brawl. Just like everyone just like full send. Just get out there, kill them all. Kill them all. Yeah, we can't be doing that. Okay. Cedric, get in here and get a full heal going. Get my boy Sal nice and healthy. Now kill the... Okay, I can't hit that. 66%, we can try and hit that. Yeah, we missed there. Let us see, let us see, let us see. What else do we have that we can really do? Well, the thing is, this one is kind of a problem. Oh, we can do that. Okay. Let's jump over here. Actually, let's just give you another turn. Okay, let's go. Here we go, Dougie Doug. Get them all taunted up. Line them up for the kills. That's probably not smart. Actually, they're not coming after me, so let's just put you in the bush. Talon! Melanie! The price for victory was high. I like how the allies literally waited until the last chapter to actually move and fight. They have not done a single thing in any other map where we've had allies, except for now. Okay, Ajax is finally taken off. There's no real good combat here. Oh my god, she finally did it. We finally got the stiletto kill. Holy crap. It only took 20 chapters. Well, we didn't get it 20 chapters, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's go assist. Alrighty, 4 left to go. Is this all you can muster, Crawford? This puny army. Alright, Rourke, get in here. We only got to play you at the very end. Oh, you know what's funny is Crawford actually did join the fight. I mentioned in the last episode I was saying how like I figured Rourke was eventually going to join us because he had a 3D sprite. But then I was like, oh, well, Crawford, though, like, he has one because of that interaction with him in the village with the fire. And I was like, he's probably not going to fight. No, he actually fought. Okay. So, yeah, anyone that has a sprite fights. Oh, that was a little, I just realized that was a little Lord of the Rings theme there. It was very slight, but I heard da-da-da, and then I think it went da-da-da. Hang on, well now I want to listen for it. The last one goes... Actually, the last one should go to Ileana. Hang on, but I want to listen for that theme. Or that motif, I suppose. I don't know exactly when it's going to pop up, though. Because I think that's the end of the song. It's all right. End it, Ileana. Put an end to this. And with that, she has proclaimed her double S tier. Well struck. Finally. This has been a long time coming, hasn't it, Crawford? I suppose. From your perspective, it has been, but no. This was never supposed to happen. Nothing's ever supposed to happen. Everyone's just trying to make things happen, or waiting for things to happen for them. Then, I presume we're both the same kind of impatient in your eyes? Something like that. Look at them scatter before us. Their formation is crumbling. The battle is won. The battle. The war. Gods damn you all. We were so close to bringing Fern into a new era. Everything we worked for, everything that I did, all of it, wasted. It was always a waste, from the very start. You just told yourself that. If you reach the end, it'd all be justified. But now you're realizing that was never going to happen. Even if you won, your murders would never stop being murders. The moment your hands were stained, it was already too late to make things right. You don't know me. I don't, but I know regret. Fern, she deserves better than the likes of you. And the likes of us, Crawford, the impatient ones, the patient types don't make change, do they? But we both know we need to change. Your change will send her spiraling straight into hell. At least we'll be warm come winter. So long as Fern's alive and free, then I am happy. This is pointless. You've won, haven't you? If you want your revenge, just... take it. Lovely. Goodbye, Crawford. It's done. Hear me, Fern! Hear me! Duke Crawford is dead. The Crown Prince is dead. The King's army scatters to the wind, and we will not talk about that shit stain of a Marcus. The beast whose claws have gripped Fern so tightly has but one talon remaining, and the road ahead of us is clear. There will be no further opposition. We will march upon the capital, throw open the gates, and reclaim our throne. Turn your eyes now to this man, Captain Sliker, last of Fern's Rangers. Once the ace up the king's sleeve, now they fight for liberation. Soon, all of Fern shall follow suit. When we arrive at the capital, we shall arrive with the entire nation at our backs. This is the first step towards a better world. A decades-old dream finally made reality. For Fern! For Fern! You know, it's funny. This isn't how I thought it'd go, but I always hoped a day like this would come. Ever since I was little, I dreamed that one day, maybe I could make life a little easier for my folks, or people like us. But this is so much more than I had hoped for, Sliker. If it weren't for you, I'd never have gotten here. So thank you. Don't thank me. I just did whatever made the most sense. Besides, you're a ranger, part of my crew, a friend. If this helps you, then that's all I needed to know. You're a good man, Sliker. Feels like, for the first time in a long time, I don't know, excited? Happy? I can't quite... hopeful. Yeah, hopeful. I like that. Guess I've never hoped before. Well, no time like the present, eh? What are you hoping for first? My first hope? It's pretty cheesy by your standards, but alright. I hope that our future is as bright as this moment feels.
And so, Fern's Rangers delivered the decisive blow of the war. Crawford lies dead, his schemes buried with him. Yet, his death does not end the violence. Fierce fighting erupts between Rorik's rebels and the Loyalist forces, leaving Fern scarred by even greater losses. In the end, Rorik's vision prevails, and his forces seize control of the nation. Rorik extends a conditional hand to the nobility, offering amnesty to those willing to renounce the bond system and aid in rebuilding Fern in exchange for keeping their lands. For the bondsfolk, emancipation brings full citizenship, sparking record turnout for the first elections of the Reformed Chamber of Peers.
Apologies for the balancing of the sound. I know that it's kind of hard to hear what he's saying.
Yet, the sweeping reforms come at a cost. Many nobles flee, taking their wealth with them. The resulting economic collapse and devastating food shortages claim more lives than the war itself, leaving some to question if the sacrifices of the present are worth the hope of a better future for their descendants. Despite their hardship, the will of the people endures. Rorik, true to his word, declares himself the last king of Fern, vowing to serve as a caretaker until the country's power is firmly placed in the hands of its people. When his time comes, Fern is left not to a monarch, but to the citizens, who now bear the weight of their newfound freedom. Across the River Elise, Zoltan triumphs. Fern's armies are driven back, and Iroquois borders are restored. Returning to his capital as a hero, Zoltan reclaims his birthright without further bloodshed, jailing those who betrayed his father. To the people, he is a savior who weathered the storm of exile to bring stability back to their fractured kingdom. But in the quiet halls of his reclaimed throne, Zoltan wonders if this peace, too, shall pass. As for Fern's Rangers, they return to a homeland both familiar and changed. Their actions shaped the course of history, but not without cost. Some find solace in the reforms they fought for, while others grapple with the lives lost along the way. Their story may end here, but the echoes of their choices will reverberate through Fern's history for generations to come.
And there you have it, folks. Let's take a look through this. Hey, expecting a credit roll? Well, this is a solo project, so you're out of luck. But while I'm breaking your immersion, I want to take a second to thank the real person behind the game. You who took a chance and supported an indie game in a sea of AAA alternatives. Honestly, indie scene is way better than AAA. Time is our most valuable resource, and you decided to share some of yours with me in the work I've poured my heart into the last 4 years. I can only hope you enjoyed every second. I'm eternally grateful from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I say solo project, but I had the help of some phenomenal contractors. Darko Babovic, Darko Simple Art, character art and promotional art. Olivia Kyer McAnany. I apologize if I butcher these names. Main story dialogue writing, some support conversations. Zia Marashi, early chapters and story planning. David Patterson, the game trailer editor. And special thanks to Michael Jelfie Studios for music, Adrian von Ziegler for music, Cinti Studios for in-game models, Unity Engine for everything, everyone who took the time to playtest and leave feedback on the demo, especially Discord, Twitter, TBT. Why can I not think of what TBT is? And Reddit communities, everything. My wife, friends, and family, love and support. But you didn't include your name. Well, that's why we have a Steam page up. Eldin Turuli, TURULJA, the developer, the solo developer with help. Very well done. Very well done. Alrighty, so now the credits have technically rolled, and we have completed Those Who Rule, so I think that it is only appropriate that I speak on my final thoughts of the game. So as of now, how many hours do we have in this game? Let's take a look. Let's see, 40 hours. So final gameplay, expect about 40 hours. I would say you could do it in less for sure. A lot of time were spent in chapters that I definitely could have sped up. Also, to be fair, some of that time is padding because I either had to pause recording so the game was up. So let's say 30 to 35 hours. I think that's, or 30 to 40 hours. Let's say that. I think that's fair. If you're not used to these games, it might take you a little bit longer to kind of play things out and such. So, Those Who Rule. What are my overall final thoughts here? I guess let's start at the overall concept of the game and combat. My initial impressions, I was very hesitant about the game. Simply because, I'll be honest, simply because of the graphic style. I was not a big fan of it to start, and I will say, even in the end, I think that all the 2D character art was really well done. I'll be honest, I'm still not a huge fan of the 3D models in game, but they were not so bad that I couldn't play. They were just not particularly to my liking in what I would typically like to see. I think the thing, especially early on, I think this mostly fixed itself towards the end of the game, but when characters kind of all were in similar classes at the beginning, it was a little bit tough to identify who was who, especially if you have characters of similar classes. So there were some characters who are easier to identify simply because of weapons they had. So like Ro was the easiest, right? Ever since we gave her the scimitar, she was very easy to locate. But even in this last chapter, when we started, I was having difficulty between identifying Sliker and Melanie, right? They had very similar looks. Obviously, Douglas was fairly easy to pick out. Salvatore was quite easy to pick out just because he had all gold. But a lot of the character models did have a similar look. Like Talon and Corvin were pretty easy because of bright colors. But I definitely would have liked to see a little bit more distinction in the models, especially since in the actual 2D depictions of the characters, there were a lot of differences between them. But as soon as you put the armor on and they were all kind of muted colors, it's a little bit difficult to identify. So my opinion on the art style is still kind of the same from the beginning. Combat was extremely fun. So I would have to play a couple more games with the hex style tiles instead of squares, but I think hexes might just be superior. I think the added benefit of having 2 additional sides to have combat stem from, I think opens up a lot of potential, and I had a lot of fun with that, with having front side, flanks, back side, rather than just front, sides, and back. It also just opens up a lot more movement potential, a lot more formations, and a lot more abilities in general. It allows for a little bit more flexibility where, when you can attack an opponent from 6 sides as opposed to just 4. In general, I had a lot of fun with the combat, especially while I couldn't pick a particular chapter. It would definitely be after, I think it would be probably when we first raided Sal's compound. I think that's when the kind of turn happened for me, where I was starting to more so get the hang of it. Really, it was like once we, you know exactly when it was. It was when I made the switch to build more specifically around each character's individual passive. Before then, all the characters were kind of feeling a bit homogenous, and I wasn't really playing characters to their strengths. I was kind of playing them, like, for example, I had Sliker as a hero, and not that his passive really leans in, like, who's a better example? Benjin is a great example of this, right? So Benjin, initially, we just had him be basically what Kalith was doing. And we made the swap there. So Kalith was like my breaker character, right? She had the battle axe. She had Warhammer for a bit. And we had Benjin playing kind of the frontliner, pole and shield user. I think we had him with a sword for a while, actually. And after looking at their passives, it's like, oh, well, Benjin can't double ever, but he also can't be doubled. And Kalith likes getting hit. And when she gets it, oh, Jesus, Marcus, what did you do to her? And so whenever she gets hit, she gets stronger and she gets to move farther. So it's like, oh, well, she wants to be in the front of a group taking the hits. And Benjin, it kind of makes sense to put a weapon that doesn't have a shield because he can't get doubled anyway. So he kind of already has this natural advantage. So as soon as I started doing that, combat really made a lot more sense. It also helped me kind of remember like what strengths and weaknesses the characters had, because I was building around those strengths. So I could kind of look at the class and be like, oh, right, this character does this, and I know it because the class generally supports those things. As far as class diversity goes, this is definitely, this isn't like a Fire Emblem where we're trying to get like 30 different classes in here, right? And each character has their own class. Although, not, of course, in Fire Emblem, not every character has their own class, but you know what I mean? Like, there's not this, like, huge swath of a bunch of different classes. It's fairly limited, which I think makes sense for a solo developer. Obviously, that's just less classes that you actually have to go through and build. You have your six base classes, and then each one of those has 3 first-tier promotions and then 3 additional Tier 2 promotions. I think that some of the classes are clearly superior to others. I don't think that there's any real reason to go with anything other than Acolyte Enlightened on a healer, to be completely honest. I don't think that, like for example, I don't really think the Paladin was all that great. Like the Crusaders seemed fine at the beginning, but they fell off very quickly, I think. So the Crusaders into Paladins, and then what was the other one? Priest into Saint, honestly, was never really needed. In the end, I did have Cedric as a Priest Saint, and the reason that I justified that was on the Spec Ops squad that he was, I needed him to have the extra movement. And when turning him into a priest, he gained the passive that whenever 2 or more allies had less than 50% health, he gained 2 moves. So it allowed him to kind of get into the fight a little bit quicker because I didn't have as many movement items that I necessarily needed to kind of facilitate everybody. But the fact that you just get extra turns with acolytes is absurd. The way, once you start playing in squads and you better prioritize your units, which I wasn't doing in the beginning. Not your units, excuse me, your enemies. You really don't need that much healing. Especially, I think this matter, honestly, now that I think about it, it's not so much when you prioritize your enemies in a certain way, it's just once you start getting promotions. When you're in the beginning of the game, you don't really have a whole lot of shield capacity, right? You only have the basic shields, and once you start getting your promotions, you're obviously getting later into the game, so you're getting stronger shields. And when you have those stronger shields, you're also getting, tankier units that now have taunts. And so you can better control your enemies. You also have units that, can pick off individual units easier with their abilities. And so what that tends to lend itself to is the fact that the units that you don't want to get hit don't get hit as often. And so because that, you don't really need like AoE heals. Obviously, Cedric having X to full heals was quite nice, especially with the squad he was with, where they didn't really have a tank, so they didn't have anyone with a bunch of defense, so he could pop a full heal when he needed to. And then like we didn't even have a Lancer at the end. And what was the other? Was it Hunter? Sliker could go Commando, Lancer. I think it was Hunter. Commando is just super powerful. Basically any unit you can get that just has extra turns, just feels. It just like it's like having two units in one. Now, obviously, you have to set up those kills, but some of the conditions that you need for those double turns, I think, might have been a little bit too easy to actually get off. Killing a marked unit is pretty easy to do. Ileana was a freaking beast, dude. Triple hits with a bunch of weapons that can hit multiple units. Just an absolute monster. So yeah. Overall, I would say that I think there are clearly some inferior classes in their tiers. But overall, I thought that most classes were pretty fun. We didn't really delve into like the rogues at all. I honestly didn't think the rogues were all that good. But, if depending on when you're watching this, that might be completely different because the dev is adding a bunch of weapons, adding new characters. I don't know if he's planning right now on like balancing classes or adding classes or anything like that. But I know from one of the updates, like new weapons are being added, and some of those are specifically kind of tailored to rogue, where they're offhand daggers that add like more parry, more dodge and stuff like that. So that might change how good they are in the future. So yeah, overall combat was very good. I will say the last two fights or three fights. The bridge fight. Yeah, I think the last two fights, maybe even three fights, were a little underwhelming for the end of the game. The middle one, so after we got Salvatore, there was like two or three fights that I thought were really, so we got Salvatore in what, chapter 14? And then we had, let me think, I'm trying to remember. After we got Salvatore, so that was the one, we got Salvatore when we were burning everything down, right? No. That's not right. We got Salvatore when we got Wesley. After getting Wesley, we then went to save Rorik. So that would have been chapter 15. After getting Rorik, we had 16, 17... 17 or 18 would have been saving Russell. So I think 17 was saving Russell. Yeah, so it was really like those like 3-ish maps that I think were actually peak for combat. For one, they were definitely the longest fights, so they required the most strategy, especially the survival one. I think the survival one underneath in the cabin to save Rorik, I think might have been my favorite fight. That one definitely took the most strategy and the most thinking because there were just so many enemies, and because the way I split up enemies, had I played it a little bit differently, like I probably would have put Ajax over with B squad and put Benjen over with A squad. But overall, I think that might have been peak. The last 3-ish maps kind of fell off for me and weren't quite as exciting. Like this final fight, I'll be honest, was definitely overwhelming. I think this fight was even easier than the last fight, and I thought the last fight was pretty easy. So I was kind of surprised, especially when the defeat objective was all of your units dying. I thought they were just going to be like endless waves of enemies, but ultimately it was just like a 30-minute send everyone in and kill them, and it was like, yeah, I think here's the thing. If I wasn't so heated up about wanting to kill Marcus, I think I would have been fairly bored with the last fight, but the fun of like, okay, you betrayed us, I'm coming after you, kind of sparked me. So that was a little unfortunate, but I had a lot of fun with the rest of the game. The story itself, I think, was fine. It honestly wasn't something that was kind of driving me forward. The gameplay was definitely driving me forward. The gameplay was very fun. The way that you kind of interact with the game, though, the menus, the UI, not necessarily in-game, talking just in the actual like menu system when we're managing and stuff, I think was fairly simple. I wish there was a little bit more customization. I also wish there were more like customization items. The weapons I think were fine, but I always felt short items. So I wish there were a few more unique items. The refinement system itself, I think, probably needs a tweak. It is extremely expensive, and now after playing the full game and seeing how much denarii you actually get, that's a lot. It's a lot of denarii. Now, I understand the developer had said that basically the way he wanted to think of it was that, these are war times, money's going to be tight, so it's not going to be like every mission you're getting 10,000 gold and you can just buy everything you want. Totally understand that. But when the cost of, one refinement is the same as just buying a weapon, that's a little tough. So I don't think it should be that expensive. Honestly, it should probably be maybe the cost of like 1.5 or 2 kills from Melanie. Now, of course, that runs into the situation where it's like, oh, well, then you just have to run Melanie. But the developer has already said they're adding a refinement that basically gives Melanie's passive to another unit. So that means you don't have to run Melanie if you don't want to. But I definitely think that cost should be reduced. That way there's actual, like, not incentive, but it just doesn't punish you as much. Because especially once you get up to the Crucible weapons, obviously you can get them on maps. But once you start getting, I think it's, what was it? It was like 15 or 16 chests just stopped appearing. There may have been 1 or 2 later on, but I'm struggling to remember exact specifics. There's just not as many options for stuff. And so if you have to buy your Crucible weapons, well, then you're definitely not refining them. So that could use a tweak, and that could either, that could go one of two ways. That could either be allowing you to get more denarii through the campaign, but that kind of goes back on the, the ideology that the dev had about, like, it's war times, you might not have that much denarii. So then you kind of got to go back to refinement cost goes down, especially since, Marcus is our blacksmith. Like, he's already part of the party. So it shouldn't cost, if you're going to go for like in-universe reasons, then it really shouldn't be that expensive to refine up your weapons if he's doing it anyway as part of being the ranger team. So that's a thought there. Other than that, it's a sweet game for how much it is and for how much, gameplay you get out of it. Is it... Sorry, I was trying to think of how I wanted to put it. I was gonna say, like, is it one of the best out there? No, I think it's really good though. I had a lot of fun with it. I don't think you necessarily get this one for the story, but I think it's really good for gameplay. The class customization, I think, there's definitely enough there to get you excited if you're someone who really likes to customize classes. There's enough hero diversity or enough unit diversity so that you can kind of play around with what you want. I will say in the game, there should probably be a way to respec. There should definitely be a way to respec. There was no real... So there's no real punishment. Well... Well, I was going to say, how would you do that? I would leave that up to the dev to figure out how you do that. The reason why it's tough to say about the respec is because of weapon experience. Because so if you go back a number of episodes, obviously we respect a number of characters. there's no way to do it in game. You have to go in and manipulate the save file. So that's not to say that it is technically available, right? Because if you have someone who doesn't know what they're doing, then you could say that technically the respecking is off the table for them. So I don't know how you'd go about doing it, but respecking I think would be mighty helpful. Either that, or I think in game there should be like an encyclopedia that shows each class progression. And the reason I say that is because when I first started playing, I wanted to go in blind, and I did. I didn't know what the promotions were going to be, and so I was just playing it by ear. And so that's what, Sliker. I went with a hero. Same thing with Marcus. Ileana went with a blade, right? And then I started looking into it, and as soon as we got to the third promotion, it's like, oh, there's just, there's a third promotion or a second promotion here for Sliker that just completely synergizes with another of the second tier promotions. So, like, why wouldn't I just respec him? So if you go hero instead of, because what did we go with him first? Scout, right? Because Scout is what was allowing us to apply Mark at the start of our turn. So if I don't know if that third promotion is there, the reasons to go with Scout are less so. I still think Scout is very strong, but there's not as much reason to go Scout over another thing, because you're just kind of choosing between these three, like which one's the best. But as soon as you know what that third tier is, you can then say, okay, well, I want to eventually go into this tier 3 or this tier 2, promotion. So what is the best tier 1 promotion that's going to synergize with that? And if you don't know that, you can kind of run into a situation where it's like, oh, you didn't brick your run, but it's way less synergistic than it could have been had you known those. Because I think it's one thing, like, if you have a tree that's set up like a Y, right? So let's say let's go my mouse here. So you start at the bottom, like this is your base class, you promote once, and then after that first promotion, it's like, okay, you can either go to option A or you can go to option B. And then after that, there's only one more promotion, so it automatically synergizes with it. Like, that's one thing. That's one thing to go in blind, because then you're really just choosing, like, which path do you want, but you know that the following path is going to synergize with it. But if you have one in the bottom, like we have in this game, and then we have 1, 2, 3, and let's say that A synergizes, let's say that 1 synergizes with A, 2 synergizes with B, and 3 synergizes with C, and let's say Scout Commando is C, right? And I think that Commando was just overall the best one of the 3. But I go with Hero, which is B. It's like, oh, well, then I don't want to go with Commando because, there's probably something A or B is probably better synergized with 2. So that system, I think, could be a little bit cleaner. And, now you can argue there is a wiki for the game. But I am still a person who I think that all information that the player should have access to should be in the game somehow. I don't necessarily think that a player should be required to go to an outside source to find that information. Other than that, the music was great. Unfortunately, the music was copyrighted throughout the entire playthrough, so none of these videos have been monetized, which I don't know if ads were turned off or not, because I manually turned them off, but then YouTube would say like, oh, you're ineligible for monetization, but then it would like sometimes turn it back on, and it's like, no, I turned it off specifically because I knew you were not going to be able to monetize it. So it's like, are you turning it on just to give the money to the other person? So if you saw ads, apologies. I tried to turn them off. I didn't get anything out of that. That all went to the music team, which, to be fair, hey, they did a good job. But unfortunately, that was not for me. But I enjoyed the game regardless. I got my money's worth out of the game, so very happy. Those Who Rule would definitely recommend it to people who like tactical games, who like fantasy, and if you're looking for a low fantasy tactical game, would definitely recommend Those Who Rule. But guys, that's going to do it for this one, and that is going to do it for the series. So, moving forward, what are we going to be doing? I'm going to be buying a little bit of time here, because starting on Monday, we are going to be playing through Dark Deity 2. I am very excited. Very excited indeed. So if you are also very excited, would you kindly subscribe to the channel? That way you don't miss that once we start playing that. And of course, if you did like this video and if you did like the series, would you kindly smash that like button? It really does help me out and spread the videos around so that other people can come and have some fun as well. But guys, that's going to do it for this one. This has been Those Who Rule. I've been Ganians. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.